David, this Illinois going to Penn State game, you would think, right, if I didn't tell you anything that had happened this year, be like, all right, this one's got 17-14 written all over it, slugfest, going to be played in a phone booth. But when you look at Penn State bringing over Kotelnicki from Kansas and Drew Aller's progression throwing the ball down the field, Penn State's got a pretty explosive offense that they've shown so far. And then Luke Altmyer in Illinois, you can make the argument they're a throw-first team. I mean, look what he did against Nebraska. Are we going to have a high-scoring track meet in a Illinois-Penn State game?
Maybe, and I felt like it was a matter of time with Drew Aller. Obviously, nothing is ever a guarantee, but I was really excited to see if he would sort of come into his own this year. I think the new offensive coordinator has helped tremendously. Luke Altmyer certainly taken advantage of his second home after transferring from Ole Miss, and Illinois has put up over 30 points in 3 of those 4 games so far. The only one they didn't was that dogfight they had against Kansas, which they still won because they're both 4-0. So in terms of like taking the over, do you know what the over is right now?
Yeah, it's 47.5.
I like the over in that game.
I mean,
how many points is it right now? Is it 17 and a half?
Yeah, and the money's laying Penn State.
Isn't that a lot?
Confusing
Isn't
to
that
me.
a lot of points?
It's confusing to me. Look, Penn State's defense is for real. They have NFL players walking around.
But they're not I don't think they're what they were.
Up front, I don't think they're the same. They're like secondary-wise, they got some absolute dogs. But up front, and I don't know how much I believe in this Penn State offense. I'm going to sit here and say it. I'm going to sit here and say, look, you played West Virginia, and I get it, but I've watched West Virginia fall apart in that game. Fall apart. You fumbled it 3 times in the first half. I watched every possession of the Kent State, which they're good, but I don't know how impressive they really are. Illinois' defense aren't, the Globetrotters or the Avengers, but that offense is pretty damn good. And Luke Altmyer is a veteran in this game. He's sold 10 touchdowns and 1 pick. No picks, I believe. I believe Drew's 8 touchdowns and 1 pick right now. But how this game is this high, it's 17.5, and it's still laying Penn State with the money. I promise you, if this thing keeps going up and you can alt spread Illinois plus 21.5 without crazy odds, it's going to be the best bet on the board.
Well, and it's funny, when we talked about the Illinois-Nebraska game, when you look at the raw data, and the data's not going to tell you everything, just like the box score is not going to tell you everything, but we're like, all right, Illinois has struggled to stop the run. They look pretty good stopping it against Nebraska, and Nebraska's a pretty talented team running the ball, or at least they had shown that early. I was more impressed with Illinois' defense than I was in the offense that game, because I'm not going to be shocked if Luke Altmyer puts a good game together. We've seen enough of him. He's had tutelage from, you look at his time at Ole Miss, now going to Illinois. He's a veteran in the game. It's, can Illinois stop Penn State's run, or at least slow it down? And then a question I didn't think we were going to be asking this year, Penn State wants to take shots. I mean, Kotelnicki said he doesn't want to go 7 or 8 plays without taking a shot, 15 to 20 yards down the field. Can you stop those big plays that we saw Penn State hit against West Virginia that kind of backed West Virginia up and changed the way that they had to play? So Illinois is better than I thought they were going to be. I think a lot of people thought they were going to be, and they're doing it in a different way. But Penn State is better than I thought they were going to be offensively, because they're doing it in a different way, which makes for a fascinating matchup. I agree with you guys 100%. I don't know why this spread is so high. Look, I'm wondering, are we going to wake up on Saturday and this is going to be like 10.5 or 13?
No, it's going up right now. That's the thing. It's going up. It's leaning towards Penn State. The thing about it, did we learn more about Nebraska's defense or Illinois' offense in that game? I think I learned more about Illinois' offense in that game. Altmyer's a great.
Well, then what happened against Kansas? And you scored, 18? How many points they scored?
It was 23, and they created, 4 turnovers, I think, on Jake?
Yeah, they're very opportunistic. And you thought maybe that would be what kept them alive against Nebraska, because they struggled to stop the run. It was the opposite.
We talked about Nebraska, returning 80% of their production on defense. Good players on defense, and Nebraska being good up front in the box. Illinois and that Brett Bielema coach team were kicking their ass.
They really were.
In the second half of that football game, they could get whatever.
And then in overtime, they had their way with them.
So it's not like Illinois is a one-trick pony. They're going to come out here and just spread the ball around. They can do both. Trust me, Brett Bielema wants to run the football. And if he can do that against Penn State, which is not the easiest clip in the world, I'm not saying Illinois is going to win. Okay, but I'm pretty damn sure they can cover 17.5 a point spread.
It feels like one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State still wins by 35 or if Illinois just wins outright. One of those games where I wouldn't be surprised either outcome.
That's why I'm nervous to bet it.
I know. So if you just want to stay away from it completely, that's fine. But that's why the 17.5, I'm fine taking it without even adjusting the line or doing an alt spread or anything, because it's like if Penn State's going to cover that, then they're probably just going to blow them out. If Illinois covers it, I think they could just keep.
It's going to be a one.
This game's
game, probably.
This game's going to be a whiteout. It's at Penn State. You know, everything.
It's going to be the whiteout.
Yeah. So I mean,
which is credit to Illinois. I mean, that means they respect you. I don't think they'd waste a whiteout. You're not going to shoot your wad on that one if it's not worth it. All right, let's get to the chat real quick before we move on to this last game.
All right, let's go to some breaking news here from Jared Simmons. Thank you, Jared. Hey, boys, breaking news is the Pac-12 is suing the Mountain West over penalties fees. Can we get a rapid reaction?
It's the middle of the season. I don't care. I don't care. Can we save this stuff for like before the season or after it? We're going into week 5. I don't care about conference realignment unless somebody is going to play in the Pac-12 this weekend and they're changing conferences. I appreciate you letting us know, but I don't care right now.
You know what? Just like the transfer portal has open windows and closed windows.
Yeah.
Can we have a closed window.
A conference
for
portal.
Conference portal.
I just
closed
don't care.
window in season.
All right, let's go to Charlie P. Charlie, what's up? He says, has Drew Aller showed you enough this year already that they could compete for a national championship?
I think so. I mean, I question the defense. You watch them run around. Blaine brought up the secondary, and again, you look at Abdul Carter and some of the guys they got. I wonder if this defense can be dominant enough. Like, can this defense be Penn State-ish enough defensively to win it? I'm not as worried about them attacking down the field. I'm really not after what I've seen. I know at least they'll try and do it. And since they've tried to do it, they've had some success. Now, again, they got to get over the bigger humps in their schedule. And I'm not trying to say Illinois isn't, a big deal. It is a big deal. But look, Drew Aller was one of the guys I said I didn't believe in yet before the season because I haven't seen him do it against high-quality competition. Say what you want about West Virginia. I know they're not the best. Illinois, we're going to find out a little bit. But at least they're taking those chances. So I'm going to say yes. I think they're in the best position that they have been. And, Drew Aller's kind of got some goofy athletic running ability. It's not pretty. He's a big guy.
Runs like Jameis.
Like, he does run like Jameis. That slow fast.
Hard to tackle.
It is hard to tackle. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Appreciate you guys being here. If you get a second, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't take a lot of effort, just determination. And that's what we want.